this is ratio problems. The important thing about a ratio, it compares parts or shares of quantities of the same type. So quantities of the same type and in the same units. The numbers in, this should be, say, the numbers in a ratio are called its terms. So how to simplify ratios? We just divide both terms or all terms, sorry, by the highest common factor. So if you look at the ratio of 12 is to 21 is to 18, instead of where it says divide both terms, can you put all terms by the highest common factor? So with this first one, girls, which times tables would 12, 21 and 18 be in? Which times tables? They're all in the 3 times tables. 12 and 18 are in the 6s, but 21's not. So they're all in the 3 times table. So what we can do is we're going to divide them all by 3. So we're going to divide them all by 3. And if you divide 12 by 3, what do you get? 4. 21 divided by 3 is? And 18 divided by 3 is? 6. So therefore, the ratio of 12 is to 21 is to 18 is the same as saying 4 is to 7 is to 6. That's the simplified ratio. Are we okay with that? You would have learnt how to do that. So I'm putting here divide all terms by 3. So here I've got that I'm dividing by 3. The next one, girls, to simplify ratios containing decimals or fractions, you don't divide this time. See, fractions are small and decimals, these decimals are small and we've got to get rid of the decimal points. We multiply by something, multiply all terms or both terms by a number that will make them both whole. You know, with your decimals, it's easier to multiply by factors of 10. So what would I have to multiply both of these by? No. Well, if I go 10, here I'll get 6 and the other side I'll get 1.5. So I should multiply by 100. But you know what, girls? Actually, on your calculator, you can do this on your calc. I'll just show you how to do it by hand first. I'm going to times both of these by 100. The reason is if I times them both by 10, I get 6 and 1.5, and that's not, they're not both whole numbers. So if I times them both by 100, I'll get 60 is to what? 15. And now I can divide them both by what? Yep, something. Count up by 15s for me. 15, 30, 45. Yeah. So now I can divide them both by 15 and I'll get 4 to 1. But guess what? In general maths, you get to use a calculator. So this is what I want you to do. You don't have to do this by hand. This is what you do. You go 0.6, your fraction button, ABC button, 0.15 equals. Now, if you've got the fraction button, please use the fraction button. You know how some of you have. So go 0.6, this is the blue calc, ABC button, 0.15 equals, what do you get? You get 4. Now, that's because it's 4 is to 1. That's going to be a bit tricky. All right. Ones, if you did it the other way, can you do 0.15 over ABC 0.6 and you should get a quarter? If I do it the other way, not that I want you to do it the other way for this particular question, but I'll just show you. Let's say I had it's just that this time's 4 times bigger than that. If you do 0.15 ABC 0.6, you'll get a quarter. It's just that this happens to be exactly 4 times bigger than that. So 4, remember your answer is supposed to be a fraction. You're going that ABC, that equals, your answer is supposed to be a fraction. 4 means 4 over 1. All right? So if I want you to simplify the ratio, I still need 2 numbers in my answer. If you ever get a whole number, you just go, you go to 1 because 4 means 4 over 1. All right, the next one, girls. Now, how would you ever enter 3/4? How are we going to do this one? 3/4 is to 2/7. What number do both denominators go into? 28. Good. 28. You could multiply both sides by 28. But you know how else you can... No, it doesn't matter. If we make both denominators 28, how are you going to make the first one 28? So I know this is a bit tricky, girls, but I'll show you on your calculator in a minute. So I want them both over 28. Good. So the first fraction needs multiplying by 7 over 7. What's 3 times 7?
21.
Good. And the second fraction, to make it 28, needs multiplying by 4. So what's 2? So what we're really doing is the following. 3 over 4 is to 2 over 7. What we're really doing is going times 7 times 7, and this one is times 4 times 4. So we get 8 over, so we've got 21 over 28, dot, dot, 8 over 28. So girls, you know how the bottom bits are the same? You just compare the top bits. What's the ratio, do you think?
21.
The answer is 21 is to 8. Now, it's tricky doing it like that.
Could you go to decimals and then keep going?
Yeah, you could, but 2/7 is it not a terminating decimal? It recurs. You know what else you can do? Calculator. You can go, you don't want to go fraction, fraction, fraction. You know, actually guys, I need to come back to the top of the page for a sec. I need to show you something. Can I do something for you? Can you write the following up here? The ratio of A to B is the same as writing it as a fraction. This is really important. Guys, come to the top. When you see one number, ratio, dot, dot, another, it's the same as writing it as a fraction. It means A over B. Now, ratio A dot, dot, B can be written in fraction form. The reason I'm mentioning that to you is that when you simplify, that's why 0.6 dot, dot, 0.15, that's why I can write it as a fraction. You know how the ABC button is the fraction button? I can go 0.6 ABC 0.15 equals. That's writing it as a fraction. Get what I'm doing? So it's first quantity over second quantity. So with this one, girls, I can go 3/4 over. Now, I can't go fraction, fraction, but line fraction. So I go, doesn't A dot dot B mean A divided by B? Right. So come back. That means 3/4 divided by 2/7. Do that on your calc and you'll get the ratio. And it should say 2 5/8, which is a mixed numeral. And then you make it into an improper fraction by going shift fraction button. So guys, ratio, this ratio symbol means to divide. You could also use your division button on your calculator, your division button or your fraction button. Why I wouldn't use my fraction button is, how am I going to do fraction, fraction, fraction? You can. I think some of the calculators let you, but the blue one won't. So on the blue calc, you'd go 3/4, and I'm trying to do divide. Remember, this symbol means you can divide. So 3/4 divide by 2/7, what do you get? You should get 2 5/8. 2 5/8. But change it to an improper fraction, and what do you get? Because remember, ratio is something dot dot something else. What do you get? You should get 21 dot dot. You should get 21 over 8. Do you get 21 over 8? If you get a mixed numeral, you can't leave it like that. So you get 21 over 8. That means that your ratio is 21 dot dot 8. Yes. Simplifying ratios, make sure that the quantities are in the same units. So 3.5 hours is to 45 minutes. What sort of units do you think you want to put them in? I wouldn't be going fractions. Always make the bigger quantity into smaller. So 3.5 hours is how many minutes? Times it by what? Yes, 60, 60, 60, and another 30. Girls, you just times this by 60 to write it in minutes. Remember? 60 minutes in an hour. 210 minutes is to 45 minutes. Now, if you want, use your calc. How do you do it on your calc? 210 ABC 45 equals. So basically on your calculator, you're going 210 over 45. Girls, when you simplify that, you're going to get a mixed numeral because it's top heavy. 210 over 45. So when you get that mixed numeral, you've got to change it back to an improper fraction. So go 210 ABC 45, and you're going to get a mixed numeral. I mean, or you can say start dividing both by 5. That's fine. Do you get what I'm doing? I've got to simplify 210 is to 45. Get your calculator and go 210 over 45. 4 and 2/3, but that's it. Change it. So you're getting 4 and 2/3, but that's not a ratio. So what do you get over what? 14 over 3. So girls, your ratio is 14 is to 3. Do you get that? So girls, if you get like what you got, what did you get? 4 and 2/3. You can't leave it as 4 and 2/3. You have to change it to an improper fraction. So that's really 210 over 45. That's what you're putting in your calculator. 210 ABC 45 gives you 14 over 3. Do you get that? A dot dot B in your calculator can be entered as A over B, fraction. So 210 dot dot 45, you enter as 210 over 45. It will give you a mixed numeral, but I want something dot dot something. So you have to change it back to an improper fraction. Do you get it? All right. Right, worded problem. To solve problems involving ratios, sort the given information into a table, then solve the problem. I don't know if you were shown this method last year, but I really like this method. It's very visual. Okay, Brody, this is what I mean by the table. So Brody cuts a length of ribbon in 3 pieces in the ratio of 1:3:5. I want you to copy my method. It's really easy. So you put your ratio. Now, I like headings here, so I'm going to go ratio, smallest, the middle, she's cutting a ribbon, and the biggest or the largest. Do you get it? So what's the ratio of the pieces? So Brody cuts a length of ribbon in 3 pieces in the ratio of 1:3:5. So the smallest one, the ratio is 1 part. The next one's 3, the next one's 5. While you're here, throw on a total column. What do the ratios add up to? 9. Great. Now, read the information. If the largest piece is 75 centimetres long, where do I put the 75 centimetres? So that's the ratio. Underneath, you put length. So it goes under there, doesn't it? 75 centimetres. And all you do, you just say 5 times what is 75. Now, if the number's not nice, I'm telling you girls, this is, you say to yourself, how do I get from the top row to the bottom? 5 times what is 75? Now, if you can't work out 5 times what, you do 75 divided by 5. You work backwards. So you say to yourself, 75 divided by 5 is 25. So that means I know to go from the top to the bottom, I times by 25. Does that make sense? 15. Sorry, it's 15. Yeah, it's 15. I'm sorry. So now guess what I do to go from, that's my rule, to go from the top row, the ratio to the quantities times by 15. What's 1 times 15? 15. Good. 3 times 15. We know that this is that. And what's 9 times 15? 135. And guess what? How else could you have got that quantity down there? Add these 3. You should get 135. Does that make sense, girls? All right, so you put all your information in a table, and then you just say, how do I get from the top row to the bottom row? Sometimes you can't work it out, so you just divide the bottom by the top, and that will give you the factor to multiply by. And then all of them, times 15, times 15, times 15, times 15. Your final check is to go 15, so to check 15 plus 45 plus 75 should equal 135, and if it does, then you've done it correctly. All right? So now you can answer the question, how long are the other 2 pieces? 15 centimetres and 45 centimetres. And what is the entire length of the ribbon? Look how easy that is. 135. All you've got to learn to do is fill in the table. Now, Rachel made chocolate crackles containing cocoa, coconut, rice bubbles, and cocoa in the ratio 2 is to 2 is to 5 is to 1. So this is what we do. We put our headings at the top of the table. What are our ingredients? Chocolate crackles is not one of the ingredients. Chocolate crackles is the total column. Do you know what I mean? Because you have to add for coconut, rice bubbles and cocoa to make chocolate crackles. What's my first ingredient? Cofa. What's next? Coconut. What's next? Rice bubbles. I'll just put rice B. And cofa.
No, you already wrote that.
Oh, cocoa. Cacao. Cocoa. Okay, so cofa, it all starts with C, just about. Cofa, coconut, rice bubbles and cocoa, and total, what's the total? It's actually the chocolate crackle. Do you know what I mean? Do you get it? What do I put on the next line? Good. And then on the next line, I'll put quantity. Do you get it? Or the grams. Then I'll put quantity. QTY means quantity. All right? All right. What's the ratio? We go 2, 2, 5, 1. Always do a total. What have you got? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 is the total. 10 parts. All right. Where do I put my info? If she used 400 grams of cofa, are we good? Where do I put that? Fantastic. And then you say to yourself, how do I go from 2 to 400 multiplying? If you can't do it, you go backwards. 400 divided by 2 is 200. Good. To go from top of the table to the bottom of the table, I times by 200. Do you get it? Excellent. Work them all out. You don't even have to think with this. You draw the grid and you just fill it in. So, yes. So this is 400 as well, because I'm timesing by 200. What's the next one? So all I do is times everything by 200. To go from top to bottom, times by 200. 5 times 200 is 1,000 grams. Tell me what that is in... Fantastic, because kilo means 1,000. What's the next one? 200 grams. Tell me what the last one's going to be. 10 times 200. 2,000 grams is how much? Which is 2 kilos. Let's add up and make sure that it all balances. Let 1 kilo, 1,000 and the 400 and the 400 and the 200 is 2,000. All right, it works. You know what's great about this method, you even know you've done it right. All right? So once you've got it, if they all add up, then you've done it correctly. All right, try the last one on your own. Joshua is making fruit cordial drink for a party. 2 parts concentrate. 2. So remember, we go concentrate is to water, and that's the cordial. Cordial means the total column. So how many parts to how many parts? 2. Ratio is 2 parts concentrate to 13 parts water. How much concentrate does he need for 2.6 litres of water? Girls, 2.6 litres, the quantity's not very nice. Change it into smaller units. 2,600 mils. Then we say to ourselves, how do we go from 13 to 2,600? I don't know. So we go 2,600 divided by 13 is? It's not 200, so it's 200. So we say to ourselves, times 200 is our rule. I forgot to add up the total. 2 plus 13 is 15. Now 2 times 200 is 400 mils. And what's the total cordial, by the way? 3,000 mils, which is?
3 litres.
Very good. That's your quantity. So girls, ratio, quantity.